Well, if the river was acid, I was a diving duck. If the river was acid, I was a diving duck. I would dive to the bottom, never would I come up. Well, I could have had religion, bad old thing instead. Yes, I could have had a religion, bad old thing instead. Oh, the psilocybin mushrooms went right to my head.
You know, I've met other people from the internets, and some of the experiences have been very unpleasant, but you are very cool.
Well, I appreciate that.
One of the major things was that probably in 2012 or 2013, I was approached by somebody from the Netherlands, and he said he had seen me playing the shuffle, and he wanted to learn. And I had nobody knew me, nobody knew who I was. I was, you know, kind of new at it, and I said okay, and we started to Skype, and it turns out that he had diabetes at age 12. Leukemia age 18, and age 20 the leukemia cure was destroying his lungs. And then I wasn't smart enough to get his parents' information, but one day he was no longer there. And a month later, his stepmother called me up, got in touch with me on Facebook and said, Vincent is in a medically induced coma, and unless he gets a double lung transplant, he will die. We don't know the kind of music that you guys played. Would you make a playlist? Which I did. On December 27th, 2014, he got a double lung transplant and came here 2 years ago and walked 6 miles a day for 3 days. And today he goes to the gym and he rides his bike. And he said to me that when he was in the coma, he could hear, and he couldn't figure out how they got, you know, how they came up with the music.
Right.
That was from me. And the movie that's being made also is about, part of it is about that, but also how the internet can actually bring people together.
Yeah.
Which is nice, because sometimes, you know, there's the opposite occurs on the internet as well. So.
Right. Let's see if I'm in frame here.
Camera. Looks great.
Not bad, right?
Looks great.
Not bad.
You can do without that? Oh man.
The problem is, like, when you have to keep babying it for a good 30 to 60 seconds ish, and the weather doesn't help you walk around.
Oh.
Yeah.
What's up?
Went down to the crossroad, tied the flag around. I went down to the crossroad, yeah, tried to flag my right. But it seemed to know me, everybody passed me by.
Yeah! This fucking guy is fucking making me high! Woo!
Is that Brooklyn power?
Baby! Ow! I got 3 days without THC and I'm high as a fucking kite!
Oh,
Oh, it's fucking perfect.
it's good stuff.
Yeah, really.
The first time that I left my body, I was 8 years old. And interestingly enough, it was while a friend of my parents' son was playing slide guitar.
Wow.
It was quite amazing, and I was gone. And periodically since then, it has happened to me time and time again, and through various magic medicines or sacred medicines, I have traveled all throughout being. And in 2007, on the second day, I left my body very quickly, and for the first time ever was able to leave my mind, and knew that if I did, I might not come back. And I let my mind go, and I went to what I would call before the Big Bang. And I experienced the flow of energy that is what this is. And from my point of view, and I think from the point of view of many people who have experienced similar episodes, it's pure love. And that all of this is pure love. The human mind often doesn't register that because of its complexities and its various diversions. But what happened to me was that I experienced unconditional, pure love and saw that everything was that. And there were actually beings, if you were to ask me, that generated, not what people call God. That is unknown, and if there is such a thing, I don't know what it is. But that the experience was that this entire universe is a flowing, expanding, energetic love, and that's nothing else. And that human beings are able to experience that. In fact, they are experiencing it even when their minds are confused and delusional, because that's what we are. Well, the thing is, what people call God is, in fact, love. And the God part is okay. The religion part tends to be political rules and used by people who are intent on controlling the behavior of others, and that's might as well be politics, and that's what it is. And you must do this, you must do this, you must do this, you must do this. Now, I don't steal, I don't covet my neighbor's wife, I don't lie, I don't, I'm kind and gentle, but not in order to be something, or not in order to be saved, but because that's what I am. And it's not, I'm not doing it to become something, I'm doing it because it's what I am. Yeah. This plant also was in my mother's house. This is from my mother's house.
Is that 100 years old too?
Not quite, but it's easily 40 or 50.
Right.
Norfolk pine.
Look at what I can do now! I can do it all, baby!
Oh, damn. Woo! I don't think I can do that. Damn!
Candyman, he's been gone. Candyman, and his name is John. Candyman, he's my rock bound. I would do anything that's got in the world to bring my candy around. Run for bitch, get the babe some beer. Run for bitch, get the babe some beer. Go on, get out of here. Run for bitch, get the babe some beer. Run for bitch, get the babe some beer. I'll do anything that's got in the world to bring my candy around. That's from the Kickstarter that the people who are making the film about me did. That was one of the gifts.
That is kick ass.
I love it. Wee-haw!
That's great.
Well, Dave Van Ronk was my teacher, but well, actually, I've had 3 teachers. The first one was Bobby Radcliffe. And if ever anybody wants to Google Bobby, Bobby is extraordinary. And he played, I took lessons from him well, so I started in 1962 and taught myself up until 1988. And then I went to Matt Umanoff Guitars, and they recommended Bobby Radcliffe. Matt's now out of business, and Bobby is extraordinary. I went to see him one time and literally levitated when he played Looking Good. And Looking Good is this one. Anyhow, he rocked it, and he was playing electric, and it just lifted me off my chair, and Looking Good has become my favorite song. Then Dave Van Ronk, and Dave Van Ronk taught me many different things, and Dave was a pretty famous guy. And then my most recent teacher is Jeremiah Lockwood, and Jeremiah is a genius beyond compare. And if you look at anything on my channel for Jeremiah Lockwood, or just Google Jeremiah Lockwood, the man is brilliant. And my wife, who is a PhD, thinks that Jeremiah will get a MacArthur grant because the man is a genius. And he was down the corner. And he's brilliant. So yes, 1962. And in 1962, the cool kids in my junior high school were playing guitar, and that's why I started. I have videos which refer to bar chords as being the fucking, death of everything. But first of all, Robert Johnson said that the blues was a cold heart shaken chill. And
good place to start.
And yeah, well, Robert Johnson, of course, and Mississippi John Hurt said that the blues is just a good woman on your mind, but the blues actually comes from Africa. And Jeremiah is actually now pursuing a PhD, and it has to do with the development of music in this country and all around the world, and how it came from various places. The blues came from Africa. The people were brought here against their will, and the music that came, and what happened was it went from the church, where the music was played in a major key, to the bar room where it was played in a minor key. And Robert Johnson and Charlie Patton and Furry Lewis and all of these men from the 20s essentially created the blues. And then in the 50s, when I was born in 1950, and one of my first memories was in 1956 or 58, was Jerry Lee Lewis playing Great Balls of Fire on the Ed Sullivan Show, kicking the piano stool away and playing the guitar with his foot. And I went fucking crazy and said to my father, that's what I want to do. And then Elvis, Chuck Berry, and then suddenly all of this music became, and the problem was that the men that were doing it had black skin, and it was fucking horrible that they were not allowed to be on TV. They couldn't vote, they couldn't do anything. And suddenly, because of Elvis and because of Chuck Berry, this music suddenly became popular. Rock and roll was born. And that's, where it comes from. And Muddy Waters said that the blues got pregnant and they named the baby Rock and Roll. Yep.
Every day, baby, I got the blues. Motherfucker. He was a belligerent atheist too.
Tell me more about that.
But my mama, she was not. And she was born a Jew, which means I'm a Jew too. If you want to get the blues, you gotta be born to the Jew. Don't the guys who come up on the street and say, "Excuse me, you Jewish?" And I go up to them before they say it to me. I say, "Excuse me, you Jewish?" They look at me and they go, and I go, "Yeah." And I said, "You put on your shilling today?" And they go, "Yes, I did." Oh, baby. Well, I have said long that I face the Jews in Borough Park, and I face the Jews on Eastern Parkway. And oh, that way the Jews in Williamsburg. And I say that it's my power that's sending their prayers to where they want to go. I've been to before the Garden of Eden, where everything was pure and perfect too. I say, I'm pushing your prayers out the way. Garden, that's where you come from every day. I once asked a Jewish guy who was driving a car, "How do you get to Garden of Eden?" He said, "You gotta pray." I knew he was going to say that. "Excuse me, you're Jewish?" "I think I'm Jewish." Wait a minute. Yeah. Oh.
Well, actually, cleanliness is not necessarily the most important aspect to this, because there's a certain dirty side to it where the sound is sort of dirty. And
I'm glad I triggered you.
Yeah, well,
Go down this tangent for a second.
Really, and
please.
And
As I
yeah, because you know, it ain't clean. Yeah,
but that's it.
And also, wait, we were saying dirty. What do I know? Just notes trigger me. Well, yeah, and there's also a sort of man and woman aspect to it, because a lot of the blues. I mean, John Hurt said that the blues is just a good woman on your mind, and a lot of the music had to do with the relationships between men and women, and there can certainly be a dirty aspect to that, but also the idea of the breaking up and of the sadness and of the cold heart shake and chill that human relationships often cause, and the blues really brings that to life, and it's, to me, extraordinarily meaningful and really makes a difference. I've been married since 1972 to the most wonderful person I've ever met. I think that relationships are a manifestation of that love that I was talking about before, and that the manifestation is an expanding, growing, and beautiful thing, and that the relationships between men and women, men and everyone, women and everyone, and everything is interrelated, and that you know, I'm looking at you, so to speak, but at the same time, the air that is between us is touching us both, and everything in the entire universe is touching. It's one big thing to which nothing can be compared, and the relationship that we have is an interrelated connection to all of that, and that the relationships between individual people are a manifestation of that, and beautiful. And of course, then when the human interactions and foolishness gets in the way and people start acting delusional, then the relationships can turn into damaging, even though, based on what I said before, the damage itself is also a manifestation of love. That what we call pain and suffering is just part of what is and needs to be accepted for what it is, as an example of love and nothing else. And that when these so-called bad things happen, it's how we relate to those bad things that causes the suffering. The pain is one thing, the suffering is another thing. I think the Buddha mentioned that every once in a while.
Breaking a sweat up in this place.
Oh yeah, well that's typical.
Let me see what we're doing on. Oh, we're good. Yeah, go for it.
So this guy is flying into deepest, darkest Africa, and he hears over the beat, over the roar of the jet engines, drums. And he says to the guy sitting next to him, he says, "Whoa," he says, "great drums." He says, "Did they ever stop?" The guy says to him, "Drums stop very bad." Guy gets into the, you know this one?
Tell it though, yeah.
Guy gets into the airport and the fucking goes to the customs. He says, "What happens when the fucking drum stop?" The guy says, "Drum stop very bad." He goes in the cab and he says, "What happens when the fucking drum stop?" The guy says, "Drum stop very bad." Gets to the hotel, grabs the manager by the fucking neck. He says, "What happens when the fucking drum stop?" He says, "Drum stop very bad." Bass solo.
Bass solo! Depending on the bass player, it's not that bad.
Well, you know the best time to talk to the bass player's girlfriend, right?
No.
When he's playing a solo.
I was gonna say that, but I was like, yeah,
everybody talks.
I feel like I'm running into a trap there.
Well, the way to do that is to clear your mind of thoughts and to be aware of being and aware of what you are without imposing conceptual ideas onto it, and to simply be. And that the function of your body and meditation is the path to that, where you learn to stop thinking about what you are and just be it.
Can you explain the take recently? I saw a video about negative thoughts. Could you show an example of how you deal with that? I think you may know what I'm talking about.
Well,
where you smile.
Yes. Well. Sure. I call it the Brooklyn meditation method.
Yeah.
And almost everyone that hears this reacts in the same way. We'll see what happens. Is that as you are meditating, as you are walking down the street, and you remember how your second grade teacher was mean to you, what you do is you take in a deep breath, do a half smile, and say to yourself, "Shut the fuck up." That's what happens to everybody. You say, "Shut the fuck up. Why are you doing that to yourself? You don't have to do that. It's you doing that to yourself. Don't fucking do it." And I call it the Brooklyn meditation method. And of course, the other way to do it is to just simply take a deep breath, smile, and then sigh from your heart. And the sigh, the out-breath, is the way that your body feels when the meditation is properly learned. And that out-breath feeling is what I'm talking about. You better fucking do that, because if you don't, you're going to go to nirvana really quickly, because you're going to be dead. Right. So, yeah, and you know, singing, talking, it's all a matter of the breath. But the breath in various meditation methods is what you focus on. And you focus on not simply the breath, but the way that your body moves and the way that your body inhales and goes up, exhale down, and that the joyful feeling is found through the focus on the breath. and to not think about it, but to simply do it. And it is the one thing that you do without trying. Because I assure you, if you don't breathe, you're going to die pretty quickly. You can go weeks without food, you can go weeks without water, but you can't go more than 4 minutes without breathing, so you better fucking breathe. Otherwise, you die. Yeah, that's them.
That's them.
They're hammering on the wall.
That's a manifestation of love in some degree.
And actually sound, as before 2007 and even after 2007, loud noises, people chewing, etc., would make me go crazy. But now I have learned to simply accept the sounds that come in the same way as the breath. It's just a sound. It's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing to be able to hear that and not to say to myself, oh, they're making a lot of noise, or, oh, I don't like that, or, you know, shut your mouth, you're chewing like your gum on the subway. No, just accept it and just say, okay, it's beautiful, I can hear. Yes, that the moment is all there is. There has never been anything but the current moment. And it is eternal, it is forever, it has never been anything but that. The past doesn't exist, the future doesn't exist, it is now. And now is what's real, there is nothing else. That is what it is. And our minds remember, and our minds worry about the future, and our minds fear. But the only thing that there is what's right now. And that's what it is. And that's what the meditation, and that's what the sacred medicine brings to the human mind, is the awareness and the realization. I call it the realization of perfection. That what we are able to do is realize the perfection of being, and that it happens when you have quieted your mind, you stop thinking, and you just realize how beautiful it is. Even the sound of that person chewing gum
on the 2 train.
On the number 2 train. Or I actually have a video of a woman on the number 2 train going number 2 on the floor in the train. She was screaming and yelling and going totally crazy, at which point she pulls down her pants and poops right on the train. I posted that on Reddit and they liked it.
$2.80. It don't make no sense. That train's all fucked up. Well, you might as well climb a fucking fence, 'cause the F train goes so slow. Well, you should take the number 2. You got that lady making a number 2 on a number 2.
Mass extinction has happened before, and I assure you that the cockroaches and flies and other insects will be happy as hell when all the humans are gone. They will have more to eat than has ever happened for them before, and it will be a beautiful thing for the insects and the various other animals when we're all gone. Hopefully we can all just get along better. The bow started on my granddaughter's 2nd birthday. One of them was left in the house, and I just put it in my beard. And
well, the beard's been there since '07. Right.
The beard, I have not trimmed the beard or my hair since 2007. I've had a beard of one sort or of another since 1967.
Okay.
And
the sevens. Something.
oh, that's interesting. I hadn't thought of that lucky number. I also, I used to carry a bag of them with me when I would go out on the street because people love the bow. It's one of the reasons I wear it is because it just makes people smile. And I used to, if somebody would say, "Oh, I love your bow," I would give them one.
And 11-2, the suspended 12, and the 12-2, and then you play the A7, and the A like that. 11-10, 12-10, 1400, 90, 30-10. You know that the 11-10 suspended 8th is the note you gotta play.
Well,
I threw up on your birthday cake, Scout.
And then
any last words?
F train, going so slow. F train, going so slow. If you're from New York, you will know it's true that the F train fucks you.
My pleasure.
Oh, my pleasure as well. You're a doll.
Well, I appreciate it.
You're a doll.
Get the fuck over here! And I said, what the fuck? I said, they're gonna fucking kill us. At which point he opens up his shirt, he's got a gun, he says, let him for fucking try. Okay, man.
Anyway.
There you go. What a joy. What a joy.
Any last words?
Thank you.